Good afternoon, Ghana. It's 12 o'clock. Time to reach for mobile water. Mobile water, unique in every way.
"30 years of joyfulness." Hashtag Stop Galam Say Now. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News.
Let the water flow. I will speak to him directly. President John Dramani Mahama. Yellow blood do.
The news is live on Joy 99.7 and Hit 103.9 FM here in Accra. We are on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, myjoyonline.com, and affiliates in all 16 regions of Ghana, including Volta Premier Ho in Kigali FM, Bole, ATL FM, Cape Coast, and Radio Max Takrady, live on X Spaces, Facebook, and YouTube. The Midday News is supported by Petrosol Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. Our top stories: 6 prospective military recruits confirmed dead following a stampede at the Elwak Sports Stadium, where military recruitment exercise is underway this afternoon. We are live as the Chief of Defense Staff and other officials head there to bring the situation under control. In the Ofori region, scores of residents subjected to squats, singing and other forms of inhumane exercises as military undertakes a swoop in response to an attack on EPA and NIMOS teams fighting against illegal mining. We have a live update as vast loads of residents are arrested. Also, requests for more echoes through unions and groups as they say government's 9% salary increase for all public sector workers for the 2026 fiscal year is not enough.
9% is a lot because we deserve better.
Fuel is coming down, but the lubricants are not coming down. So that the Minister for Finance should look at that particular aspect for us.
And in sports,
Ghana's Black Stars open camp with 18 players ahead of the Kirin Cup game against Japan.
Murak joins us with the latest in the world of sports, and it's 15 days to the Republic Bank Love FM Habitat Fair in Kumasi, and the discounts are already pouring in. Superlock Technologies is kicking things off with a whopping 20% discount on its premium security doors.
And this is also a fire door.
Superlock fire door. That is what I was really looking for.
So in case of emergency, you just stand here, you go outside.
These and more with me, Pearl Ofori. This is Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible. In our first story this afternoon, 6 people have been confirmed dead following a stampede at the Elwak Sports Stadium this morning, where military enlistment exercise has taken place. Thousands of hopeful applicants have gathered to secure a place in the ongoing military enlistment drive, but heavy overcrowding and intense pushing at the entry gate turned chaotic. We'll take you live there shortly. First, Joy News editor Fred Smith is in the studio with a statement released by the Ghana Armed Forces a while ago confirming the stampede and the deaths. Fred, what does the statement say?
Well, it says that the Ghana Armed Forces deeply regrets to inform the general public of a tragic stampede prior to the commencement of the 2025-2026 recruitment exercise today, Wednesday, 12th November 2025 at the Elwak Sports Stadium in Accra. Preliminary investigations indicate that the stampede was triggered by an unexpected surge of applicants who breached security protocols and rushed into the gates ahead of the scheduled screening at about 6:20 hours. The unfortunate incident led to the death of 6 potential recruits and many others injured. The injured are currently receiving emergency medical care at the 37 Military Hospital. The Ghana Armed Forces assures the general public that the medical teams are working tirelessly to stabilize affected individuals. Meanwhile, arrangements are being made to notify the families of the deceased. The Ghana Armed Forces extends its deepest condolences to the families of the deceased and wishes a swift recovery of those injured. And they say that they will provide further updates later. This statement is signed by Evelyn Intiamwa Asamoah, Colonel for Acting Director General of Public Relations at the Ghana Armed Forces.
Johnny's editor Fred Smith with the details of the statement from the Ghana Armed Forces. And what we are learning now is that 6 people have been confirmed dead following a stampede at the Ilwak Sports Stadium this morning. Let's take you live to the scenes now, and my colleague Fatal Bayaga is on the beat for us. We are trying to reach my colleague Fatal Bayaga. He's been monitoring this event for us. We know that, of course, the breaking news is that 6 people have been confirmed dead following a stampede at the Ilwak Sports Stadium this morning, where military enlistment exercise is taking place. Well, the Ghana Armed Forces, like you just heard my colleague Fred Smith just bring us the statement from the Ghana Armed Forces, and it says that it deeply regrets to inform the general public of a tragic stampede prior to the commencement of the 2025-2026 recruitment exercise today. Preliminary investigations indicate that the stampede was triggered by an unexpected surge of applicants who breached security protocols and rushed into the gate ahead of the scheduled screening of about 0620 hours. Now, the unfortunate incident led to the death of 6 potential recruits, and many others have been injured. The injured are currently receiving emergency medical care at the 37 Military Hospital, and the Ghana Armed Forces assures the general public that medical teams are working tirelessly to stabilize affected individuals. Meanwhile, arrangements are being made to notify the families of the deceased. You're listening to the Midday News. We'll be back with more update on this story.
When I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth with Kale Charcoal toothpaste. This gives me confidence all day.
Anytime you meet Amma, don't be surprised I smile showing my beautiful white teeth because I don't have cavity thanks to Kale Charcoal toothpaste for its natural charcoal properties. In fact, we are like twins. I can't go without my Kale Charcoal toothpaste.
That be why I dey use Kale Charcoal toothpaste morning and night when I dey go bed safe. It dey make my teeth white when it dey comot every scent from my mouth inside. My confidence level they go up, so I dey show my 32 teeth all.
Introducing the Kale Charcoal toothpaste, formulated with activated bamboo charcoal powder, ensures whiter teeth and removes bad breath. The strong natural property of the activated bamboo charcoal removes bacteria, absorbs surface stains on our teeth caused by coffee, wines, and tobacco. Welcome, Kale Charcoal toothpaste. Kale Charcoal toothpaste, Sankofa Yenchi.
Kale, happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
The winning season is.
Keep this frequency clear.
99.7. Joy 99.7 FM.
And thanks for staying with us on the Midday News. Let's bring you other stories this afternoon. And the minority in Parliament is calling for the publication of full details of the investigative report into the August 6 Z9 helicopter crash. The comes at the back of government's press conference on Tuesday, revealing the outcome of the investigation and some recommendations. First, listen to the chairman of the Accident Investigative Board, Captain Paul Forge, on what exactly caused the helicopter to crash. Now let's move away from that. And meanwhile, aircraft investigator and safety officer Captain Nathaniel Kojo Anderson says the availability of the safety awareness equipment could have prevented the incident. We'll bring you the story later as we progress. For now, though, let's move on to other stories. And pressure group Democracy Hub is requesting the Supreme Court to order the government to release its agreement with the Trump administration regarding the deportation of West African nationals to Ghana. A number of persons have already been deported to Ghana based on the agreement Democracy Hub contends is unconstitutional. Ranking Member on Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee, Nana Safwe J.I. warns Ghana risks serious legal consequences if the current U.S. deportation arrangement is not immediately reviewed. This follows a viral video showing Ghana Immigration Service officers forcibly dragging deportees from a hotel in Accra. He insists the controversial deal with the United States was never brought before Parliament, warning that its secretive nature could expose Ghana to future legal battles. According to him, the minority has filed urgent questions for the Foreign Affairs Minister to appear before Parliament, but accuses the majority of deliberately stalling the process.
They are taking everybody for granted. If that's not the issue, then how come you go into such a very important international agreement or arrangement with another country without due diligence, without recourse to Parliament? At one breath, you say this about the arrangement. At another breath, you say this about the arrangement. Ghanaians, assistants now, do not even know what entails in that arrangement that you have gone or you have undertaken with the United States. And it is so sad. I mentioned it. There was a time I mentioned it, that if we do not take care, the people we are taking on humanitarian grounds, on the grounds of Pan-Africanism, as stated by the minister, will be the same grounds for which these individuals will take the nation or will hold the nation to some legal issues. And I am not surprised this is churning out. We've done we filed some questions to Parliament to bring the minister to respond to these questions. Until now, Parliament or the majority have not arranged the minister before us to come and respond to these matters.
Meanwhile, lawyer for the deportees, Oliver Baka-Vomawo, has condemned the state's handling of the returnees, describing it as a violation of both Ghanaian and international law. He spoke earlier on the AM show on the Joy News channel.
Why do you enter into an agreement? Today, Recruitment Ghana is putting visa restriction about the humanity of other Africans. Is that the message we are selling? So I don't understand. I haven't seen the agreement. The government doesn't want to disclose it. They haven't sent it to Parliament for ratification. You have heard the minority's position on this. You have heard the Foreign Minister say that they are not required under law to send it to Parliament. So there's so much secrecy surrounding what we are doing. And our refusal or inability to work in the light is telling of our refusal to then abide by international law and even our own. They said they were dragging her to try to put her on a flight to Sierra Leone. She was clear, and I have a copy of this. This was presented to the immigration officials. The last time we brought an application demanding that the people be prevented from deportation, they were snuck out in the middle of the night, told to run into Togo, and expelled from Ghana because we wanted to prevent the court order from happening. It's almost like a wild west. Some of the things I am seeing happen in this country, even the worst of our military regimes, I've never seen this happen.
Well, the case is now before the Supreme Court, where Baka-Vomawo and his legal team are challenging government's conduct and demanding full disclosure of the agreement signed with the U.S. Let's now cross live to my colleague Kweku Asante, who is monitoring proceedings at the Supreme Court. Kweku, has the case been called, and what are the reliefs being sought by the pressure group?
Well, Pearl, the substance of the argument by Democracy Hub and their lawyers led by Oliver Baka-Vomawo in the Supreme Court, apart from all the injunction application they filed asking the court to stop the implementation of the agreement, they are demanding a copy of the agreement by way of disclosures. The Attorney General in court today, in particular, led by Justice Shamsai, the Deputy AG, says it would appear that the entirety of the case of Democracy Hub is premised on media reports, and they do not have anything grounded on the substance of the demand they are making. Despite the fact of that, the court says it is a notorious fact that the government is indeed implementing a certain agreement with the U.S. government that involves deportation of certain ECOWAS nationals. However, as to whether or not the copy of the agreement must be given before even the injunction application will be heard, the court is ordering both parties to file written statements. And just when I step out of the court, Justice Gabriel Scott Foreman, who was presiding over the court, was about to give a date for the written submissions to be filed. And then they will make a determination as to whether or not the agreement should be given to Democracy Hub. And then the date will also be set for the injunction to be heard.
Kokwa Santa reporting from the court, and thank you so much for that update. Now let's take you back to our earlier story where 6 people have been confirmed dead following a stampede at the Elwak Sports Stadium earlier this morning. My colleague Fatal Bayaga is there and brings us the updates.
In fact, how many men are in the Ghana Armed Forces as we speak? These are critical questions that we're seeking to get answers to. But in the meantime, joining me in studio is head of our research desk, Kofi Ajay, is going to take us through the numbers, break it down for us. Really, what is the fundamental issue that is leading to so many numbers queuing at the Elwak Sports Stadium to be enlisted into the Ghana Armed Forces? Very, very, very sad news there this afternoon. But we hope. We'll go now.
And you heard my colleague Mami Sinyamicha Thomason speaking on the Joy News channel, discussing what just happened with my colleague Fatal Bayaga. Let's go back now and get the updates.
Situation in the country as about now, there are thousands that have queued just to be enlisted. But really, how many of these people will be enlisted into the Ghana Armed Forces? What are the current figures that we have? How many are expected to be drafted into the?
We apologize for that. We'll bring my colleague Fatal Bayaga later to bring his update on this breaking story. For now, though, the Setrehiman water treatment plant in the central region is on the brink of total shutdown, choked by heavy silt. Workers now spend hours each day manually shoving the thick mud barely 20 meters from the plant's raw water intake on the River Pra. But with Galamsey activities upstream worsening the silt and turbidity levels, the Setrehiman headworks is fast losing the battle. Emmanuel Juvenu has more in our continuing series, Dear Mahama, Stop Galamsey.
Young men soaked in muddy water, pushing and shoving heavy silt away just to let a trickle of raw water reach the intake pipes of the Setrehiman water treatment plant. What should be an occasional maintenance has now become a daily battle, a fight for a river that is slowly dying. The River Pra, once clear and life-giving, is now thick with mud from illegal mining upstream.
Yellow bread do. Elmina people, you are suffering from water. Central region, yellow bread do.
Water was for soon, dear. Main chant 1 year or 2 years in a year.
If I am not mistaken, it's been about 2 years since water last flowed through our taps. We don't get any water from Ghana Water Company.
Yes, water plant.
The Setrehiman water treatment plant is very close to us. But because the River Pra is so polluted, it's hard for them to treat the water and supply it to our homes.
For residents like Kofi Techi, the River Pra is a painful memory.
It's really sad to see the River Pra polluted. This is same water we used to drink. It's so now polluted. It's heartbreaking. We are looking to the government to deal with the Galamsey.
Kofi recalls when illegal miners tried to dig just meters away from the Setrehiman treatment plant. The community chased them away, but their victory was short-lived.
This isn't how the water used to be when I first came to live here. It was sparkling clean. We could see fish swimming in it whenever we crossed on our way to the farm. Before, when we were thirsty, we could fetch and drink, but not anymore. Now,
officials at the treatment plants declined to speak on camera. Workers too, fearful of sanctions, would not talk, but their silence speaks volumes. The story of Setrehiman treatment plant goes beyond a local crisis. It is Ghana's reflection in muddy water, a nation watching its rivers die. If we fail to protect the pra, ayensu, and cobra, and dolphin, we fail to protect ourselves and our future. Emmanuel Jivanu, Joy News, Setrehiman, Central Region.
And we go back to the breaking story we brought you this morning, where 6 people have been confirmed dead following a stampede at the Owak Sports Stadium this morning. My colleague Fatal Bayaga is now on the lines for us. Fatal, you have been there since morning. What can you tell us now?
Pearl, the situation is that many of these young individuals came early morning hoping to be enlisted into the Ghana Armed Forces. But because of the huge numbers that came, many of them, in fact, they tried to rush into the stadium. And so that led to the stampede. And because of the huge numbers of these individuals, the military could not contain them, could not control them. That led to this particular situation. I spoke to many of them, and in fact, what they were told was that they should all come today. So when they got to the premises of the stadium, then the officers there then told them that according to their, what they have or their schedule, they're supposed to come in batches, and that from tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday, that the process would be completed. So they came knowing that they would go through the process today, but they came in and they said it was a different thing altogether, and many of them too do not want to go back, and they decided to, try to get into the stadium, which led to this particular situation. I spoke to the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Oklu, who basically said that, in fact, she refuted the claims or the speculations earlier that some individuals had died, and that based on the information she paid, there was nothing like that. We can take a listen to it.
When I interviewed the officers, they said, I asked them, why is it that everybody is here? They said some were told to come to be here on Friday, others were told to come here on Thursday, but they are all here. But today they are only attending to the army, the Ghana army. Tomorrow they will attend to the Navy, and then goes on Friday. I mean, this exercise is going to last for 1 week, and so everybody will be attended to. So also let's advise the youth, and so that they can go home and come back tomorrow, so that they can be attended to. But what I'm seeing here, my dear, I'm afraid, honestly speaking, I'm afraid.
There were speculations of death and other injuries based on what...
You heard the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Akwili Oklu, speaking to my colleague Fatal Bayaga. Fatal, if you're on the line, has the scene been cleared, or are there still crowds around at the Owak Stadium?
The crowd, in fact, according to the military, these individuals will leave so that they would come as they instructed them to do tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. But they wouldn't listen to that. They are still there in their numbers, trying to enter the stadium. And many of them say that their fear is that they would leave, and then the next day they come, they wouldn't be able to get the opportunity to go through this process, and that would be very difficult for them. So at the moment, the numbers are so huge, and the individuals, these young persons, do not want to leave at all.
Earlier, you were at the 37 military hospital where the injured persons had been sent. Did you see any of the family's members there? And also, can you tell us the condition of these people who were there?
So, at the moment, the military will not allow us in the hospital at the moment. But we told that some injured persons are here. And in fact, even the dead bodies of those who died are at the hospital morgue. And what we're picking up this afternoon is that the president would be coming here. We told that some top military officers themselves are already here waiting for the president. So this is what we are monitoring at the moment. And as and when all of these issues unfold, we'll bring that to our listeners.
Fatal Bayaga, thank you. We go to our earlier story where the minority in Parliament is calling for the publication of full details of the investigative report into the August 6 Z9 helicopter crash. The call comes on the back of government's press conference on Tuesday, revealing the outcome of the investigation and some recommendations. First, listen to the chairman of the Accident Investigative Board, Captain Paul Foggio, on what exactly caused the helicopter to crash.
As the flight approached Obuasi, visibility deteriorated rapidly due to mist and low clouds. At 9:56, the crew entered IMC, which is Instrument Meteorological Conditions, To the layman, it is they flew into clouds because they no longer could stay away from the clouds. So they flew into clouds and transitioned to IFR. Now, IFR is Instrument Flight Rules. So what it means is they now transitioned from navigating using visual cues to now navigation solely on the aircraft's instruments. The crew then initiated a climb to cross terrain that they were aware of. They initiated the climb to cross the terrain. Seconds before impact, the crew stated that they could see the high ground below, so they had gone over it. Suddenly,
Well, Johnny's research has been studying the report, and my colleague James Aveji joins me in the studio with details. James, what more do we know?
Well, Pearl, from the report that has been released, there is a segment on the aircraft itself, which captures the serviceability and the airworthiness of the aircraft. It mentions that that particular aircraft lacked key safety equipment, including terrain awareness and warning systems, also advanced navigation and terrain mapping. It also lacked automatic flight control system, which we all know as autopilot, as well as and it says that this safety equipment could have enhanced situational awareness, and an immediate recommendation is made under that particular provision, which says that the committee recommends strongly for aircraft with these additional safety enhancements to be acquired immediately.
James Aveji, thank you so much for that. It's now time for sport, and Mubarak is here with the latest in the world of sport.
Yeah, Pearl, the Black Stars are in camp in Nagoya with 18 players ahead of Friday's Kirin Cup game against Japan. Benjamin Asare, Mohamed Salisu, Prince Osei Owusu, and Christopher Bonsuba are yet to join, but are expected soon. Back home in the Ghana Premier League, Asante Kotoko take on Vision FC in an outstanding fixture at 3 p.m. A win would propel Kotoko into the top 4 on the table. Back to you, Pearl.
Thank you so much, Mubarak. Now, away from sports, government 9% salary increase for all public sector workers under the single spine salary structure for the 2026 fiscal year is not enough for the beneficiaries. They say the increase percentage is woefully inadequate and demand an immediate review. These concerns have intensified ahead of the Finance Minister's presentation of the 2026 budget statement and economic policy to Parliament tomorrow. First, let's hear from some of the teachers.
If we still have that chance, the 9% increment on base pay, if possible, should be reconsidered. If we can get something around 30%, we'll be fine. Okay.
They should get down to the schools, they should get down to the various public sector workplaces and see the conditions under which the workers work. And then look at do proper calculation of the components that the worker services will need within a particular month to be able to know what actually will make the worker happy. So basically, I will not be surprised if in the coming days, early next year or mid next year, workers start agitating for COLA, because definitely the 9% salary adjustments will not promote any any to productivity that will impact the economy. But if the person is not satisfied, it's not going to meet his or her basic needs. Definitely, when you go to workplace, you'll be thinking you cannot deliver.
Well, the Ghana Union of Traders Association GUTA says they want to see a drastic review of the country's VAT system, which they believe is robbing consumers. Here is their president, Dr. Joseph Obing.
You see, all the indicators are getting better. Inflation has come down, interest rates coming down, and then the exchange rate is also down. And so we expect the finance minister to put or adopt any measure that will enhance these gains that we've achieved. It's very important. This is what will make business thrive and grow from here. And we'll also have to be mindful of the numerous taxes that we pay. Government have assured that they will realign the tax system, and we are expecting that the taxes will be minimized in order to help boost the growth that we're talking about. Because if we have the stability and then we overtax it, then we overtax it out of production, and it wouldn't also help us at all.
Now, what's a home without strong, secure doors? If you're planning to own a house or any property, you need top quality doors and windows to keep intruders out. Superlock is offering a massive 20% discount on its range of security and fire-resistant doors at this year's Republic Bank Lava Firm Habitat Fair. Here is marketing executive at Superlock announcing the exciting offer.
Look, yes, in case of emergency, we just open it and go. Yes, this is how it is. And this is also a fire door. Super
fire door. That is what I was really looking for.
So in case of emergency, you just stand here, you go outside. Yes, this is being a fire door. So we have Superlock have a fire door.
But in case you lock it, it doesn't happen that way.
We don't lock it.
We don't lock it.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't have lock here. So you just come, you touch here, you just out like this. Yes, this is fire door. So it can hold fire more than an hour. So in case of emergency, this door will be there. So this is how it is super.
Now, even with that, the affordability, people, they're hearing is Superlock, and we might be wondering, hey, then the price is going to be super. That's not the case, right?
Like Superlock, our price, others say, oh.
And you can visit the Superlock stand at the Kumasi City Mall from the 27th of November to the 30th of November and take advantage of these unbeatable discounts. Remember, the countdown is on, just 15 days to go. And that's how we end the Midday News. My name is Ofori. Good afternoon.